So this is a light-hearted video thinking about something which I think can potentially be quite a serious subject matter, and that is about family stories. So this is about your childhood story. This is about the family narrative that carries on through your childhood, through your young adult life, into your adult life, and then potentially can get passed on through the generations. Now, this, as I said, I'm keeping it light-hearted today, but this is something that I've been thinking of. I was thinking about like how to make these childhood stories relative to me. And like one thing that absolutely is driving me crazy at the moment it's something that my husband keeps saying to my daughter all the time, and it's really starting to wind me up. And I think he's just saying it now just to wind me up, just to get a reaction out of me. But it's really relevant, and so I thought I'd share it because it feels like it's important to me, and it's needling me. So like it must be fairly important. So my eldest daughter is 7, and like so many kids over lockdown, has become addicted to her iPhone. And both of my girls love watching Ryan. Now, I don't know if you are, if you're not aware of Ryan, then well done. You either have this delight to come, or you've managed to avoid it completely. But Ryan is this American kid. I'm not going to go into lots of detail. He's got his own YouTube channel. He basically plays with toys and earns an outrageous amount of money through YouTube in the process. And now he's got his own range of toys and what have you. And I think this kid, he's about 8, and I think he earns something, I mean, it's obscene. I think he earns something like $40 million a year through YouTube. That's not my beef. I don't care what he gets up to. That's absolutely fine. So my beef is that my husband, Dave, keeps joking, and he is joking, obviously, saying, when you grow up, you can marry Ryan. Absolutely boils my blood. Absolutely boils my blood, because I want my girls to grow up knowing that if they're going to earn anywhere near £40 million a year, they're going to do it off their own back. Because they can. Because I want them to grow up to be smart, intelligent, entrepreneurial, if that's what they want to do, and earn their own money. And so this whole thing about needing to marry a rich guy, and like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not hating on Dave, like he's being silly. Like, I know he's being silly, but I don't want that kind of rubbish rubbing off on my girls. And it is rubbish, and of course it's rubbish, but I don't want that story to stick. I don't want that narrative to stick. I want them to know that they can have absolutely whatever it is they want in the world, as long as they work hard for it and they get it themselves. Like, you have to go to school because you have to be clever, because I don't want you to be dumb, basically, but I want you to do well, and I want you to achieve, and I want you to be as successful as you can possibly be, following your heart, following your dreams, and doing what it is that you want to do. So, and as I said, like, it's a really silly thing to be annoyed about, but it does really annoy me. And so that's kind of like what I want for you to think about, really, is like, what are the, so a lot of the work, I mean, if not all of the work to a degree, is about how we pass on our own childhood issues to our children. Like, most of my clients, not all of them, I always say all, because like it's not all of my clients, but like most of my clients start working with me, and before we can do any of the kind of like the goal setting and the working towards, we've just got to clear the backlog. There is often quite a big backlog, not always, but often. And so it's about breaking that cycle so that we can be the best parents, the best adults, the best wives, the best friends, the best, daughters, sisters, like whatever. But there's usually a story, and that story is obviously usually false, but it's there and it holds relevance, and it holds relevance in holding us back from whatever it is. And so we need to be really careful what we're teaching our children. And we need to be really careful about the messages that we pass on. And that doesn't mean that we have to be really serious and that we've got to second guess everything and analyse everything. And like, we can make jokes and we can obviously say stuff with a pinch of salt. But there is a fine line between what we say and what they interpret, what they hear, what they understand, what they see from us, and then what they then assimilate and then make true, make it their own truths. So there you go. So, my kids aren't going to be marrying Ryan. They can marry millionaires if they want to, but I want them to know that you don't have to marry into success to be successful. You don't have to marry into money to be wealthy. And I mean, obviously, it goes without saying that being happy and being healthy is the most important thing. But I definitely don't want them, chasing after YouTube millionaires to think that's how they're going to make their fortune, which they don't, and they really don't. But it just needles me, and so I thought I'd share it. So there you go. That's my silly story for the day. One of the childhood stories that you're either carrying around or passing on to your children.